So, we're here. We are in Bergen, finally. We are going to a Guild Ball tournament tomorrow. It's now 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm going up in 6 hours. Could be worse. I'll hopefully be awake enough to play the games tomorrow. I was talking to my hosts here, which are also going to the same place, Regncon, in a few hours. And I hope I don't need to sleep during the games. I hope I can sleep afterwards or between, maybe. Well, hopefully. We'll see how it goes with the games in the morning. I think it'll be a good games, or some good games. I brought my alchemists. By the time people actually see this, it wouldn't really matter. And I don't know, maybe I'm thinking to, depending on who or what I'm meeting, probably play a fair bit of smoke this weekend. But of course, if I do get a team that I am a little uncertain about, I'll probably actually just do Midas because I know him better. So we'll see. Oh yeah, this handsome guy in the back. It's actually a drawing of my host. Maybe some of you Bergen people know him, maybe. We shall see. It doesn't really matter that much. No, other than that, I am out here, and it'll be a very good night, I hope. And I'll see some people tomorrow. I look forward to the games, and best of luck to my opponents, whoever they may be. I'm not sure exactly how many will be playing tomorrow. I assume somewhere between 5 and 8 people, I guess. It's hard to say. The last attendance I saw from the Facebook event, I guess, is, or at least it was 7 people. And with 7 maybes. I assume that'll translate into at least one more person. We shall see. Regardless, I look forward to having some good games tomorrow, and we'll see how the day goes. So, now just gotten through the day here. It's been long, so we had 3 full games. As you can see, I'm quite tired by all of those. It took its toll. I did get something good out of it. I would say first place is pretty good. So I won my 3 games today. My throat is horrible from all the talking, but I have defended the honor of Oslo this time, and it'll be fun to see again how it goes next time. But it has been, well, it has been a good challenge. And we have a few new players here today as well. Actually didn't play any of those, but or did I? One new player, but the other ones were at least been playing somewhat before, so at least I tried to earn the victory. But it's been quite a good day with the people here, and they've welcomed me well for the. You can see the room in the back here where we've been at it. Yeah. As you can see, they've been busy guys. They're also demoing. Let's see, that's War Machine. I think they're at the moment. They're doing quite well with that. Got 2 players. Never tried the game before, and they're quite enjoying themselves, I think. Doing a 3-way match. Apparently a little bit of a mess, but a glorious one, I'm told. And anyways, I'll let you get back to your regular schedule. I'll report in a little bit tomorrow and try to go through the games properly. Probably put in some images as well, see what we can really tell you about how it actually was. I did play Alchemist this time. mostly as I couldn't find my partitions tokens until I was on the way out the door. Then I did not bother repacking. So, Alchemist it was. And they did very well for me. I played Midas once and smoked twice. And I'll do the rest, more details in the next little segment. So, see you soon. Journey almost complete. I am at the airport on the way back, and I am pretty tired after the weekend, but it's been a good weekend by all means. So, thought I'd actually go through some of the games while I sort of remember them. So let's see. We have the first game. I played against them. So the first game was Farmers. So we got to have a little go with those completely new ones. That was pretty cool. Fairly new player. So only I think it's third game with Farmers, was it? I believe. Still, he did do quite well with them. I played a Midas lineup, basically focusing on, well, getting the ball in the goal as quickly as possible, really. So, quite striker heavy and fire for slowing movements. That was basically my entire idea. Use the fire as best as I could, just to make sure that I could control, especially Windle, and keep him out of the fight, and really just get him, well, keep him away, which I actually successfully did very well, and do what I can to get the goals as quickly as possible before I die. And all in all, that went quite well. Midas was doing Midas things, as he usually does. Vitrol did definitely a good job as well. She was basically untouchable. It felt really like playing in the old one, so to say. I never really used extra dodge or anything like that, but then again, she never needed, really didn't need it at any point during the game at all. So, if I'm looking at the game now, then I would say, with experience, this player I've played against should be quite good, and he'll probably learn the Farmers a lot more than he did. He hampered himself a little bit with his harvest markers. He just generally used them for influence. Just put them out, use them all for influence for the next turn. It's all well and good if you can use your influence for something. But he neutered himself a few times there with actually removing some from the area from Windle, so he couldn't have his big breakfast. Made it actually fairly easy for Catalyst to actually just push him slightly to the side and, well, pound him off the board, actually. That's a rather interesting one. Then I could actually push Windle from basically standing in front of Catalyst, push him right over to the side, not very far from the side of the pitch, and then another big hit, and it spikes, and I get a 6-inch push, and Windle hits the crowd, literally. So that was the end of that one. So I guess that's one way of getting rid of him. And after that, he never got to get back into the fight. Not sure who my VI or MVP was for that game, but it would be either Midas or Catalyst. Probably Catalyst in that case. He essentially held 3 players on one side alone and let essentially the rest of my team deal with less than half of his on the other side without actually really losing anything. He was never taken out. He only took a few points of damage. Frankly, he probably took more damage from from the fire he takes every turn during that game than the rest. Essentially because Wendell really got neutered quite badly. He got in once to Catalyst, did a few damage on him, but nothing worth writing home about. And anyways, that ended quite quickly and quite, well, one-sided. And what can you say about that game? No. It's a learning curve for the farmers player, I think. That will be the best one for that. And I said he'll probably turn out to be a pretty good player. But his harvest marker allocated or using that needs to improve a little bit. And also remember, sometimes you actually need them the next round. They're not just extra influence. You actually need to use your influence for something. But regardless, we'll move on. Let's see, second game. That would be, now who did I face in the second game? Yeah, that was Masons. Hammer Masons. Not often you see. That was Hammer, Tower. I also see Granite. I've not really seen her much around either. But there you are, both in one game. So that was, if I remember correctly, be Hammer and the Armadillo Wrecker, I think. And then his lineup was, let's see, he had Granite, he had Mallet, he had Tower, and Flint. Yeah, I think that's right. So that's a lot of, well, it's a lot of hurt. So I figured, okay, let's take a page out of the VTC and borrow a little from Strictly the Worst even, and really do this gun line and denial of everything, and oh well, let's give that a go. So I slapped down essentially the Smoke Alchemist gun line. Nothing that really could kill anything on its own. And I also put up Veteran Catalyst as sort of a threat. And he came definitely in play, murdering multiple people. And also witnessed me at the end for good measure. And a smoke goal finished it off. And that was interesting in a sense. He never got to have really one engagement that he could choose. Hammer got into combat once with Harry and really couldn't do much anything to him. Yeah, well, I got into combat twice. The other one was with we charged past Harry, didn't go out of his melee zones, got a minus from that. And then he went for Calculus. He just barely got there. He had to use all the resources to just even get there because of fire and everything in the way, so to say. So he couldn't charge through, so he had to sprint to get there. That hampered him pretty badly. And he had a really bad first one, so he basically got one success on that. That probably hurt his chances very badly. I also did a counterattack with Calculus at the same time. So the result was basically him doing 1 damage and me doing a double push. So that was for influence of Hammer. He stood there and felt probably not so good about himself. Anyway, that must have been a very frustrating game to play. He really couldn't do much anything. Everything was on fire and poisoned almost at any given point during that entire game. Smoke was basically controlling pretty much the entire team and just whittling away at the health pool of the entire team for 2-3 rounds. Or yeah, it's pretty bad. I think the first sort of mistake that was made to begin with was, well, I kicked off. I actually had a very good kick scatter. It just barely passed the line. Down were basically a smoke column and obstruction barrier. From there, he had to. The only one that could get the ball was Flint. Otherwise, I could have easily retrieved it with the Mercury, and well, he'd be pretty safe from where he was. He just booted back to my line. Everything's fine. So he used basically everything he could get the ball. He managed to kick it back to his line. That went well enough. But he did not check Veteran Catalyst's charge range. I didn't dare to until the last activation when it was Veteran Catalyst's turn. And then I checked, and he was basically barely within. Oops, I suppose what you can say about that. I went in, completely wrecked him, essentially. He was left on one. After all was said and done with the poisons and everything else, and he basically was left on 1 hit point for the next turn. And that was all she wrote for Flint. Next turn, he was given no influence. Veteran Catalyst was just basically standing there until I think he was standing there for I think it was my 4th activation. At which point he just whacked Flint on the head once, killed him, then charged into granite. And actually splash damaged on another tube as well with Intensifier. And at that point, my player started realizing his mistakes, and I was okay, it's very clear, I have not played against this guy before, Veteran Catalyst that is, and he completely underestimated him. Yeah, well, he didn't kill Granite, nor did he need to, but Mallet was essentially witnessed me 1 activation later, or 1 hit later. So I basically then got 6-point activation out of Veteran Catalyst on the start, or the middle of the second turn. Well, in the middle of the first turn, strictly speaking, not counting the kickoff. That was a harsh start, so I essentially started at a 6-2 quite quickly. Everything was on fire, burning, and it wasn't probably a very good game or a very pleasant game. But he certainly at least got to go through and really understand a lot more about how alchemists work, at least smoke. So I imagine he'll not play like that again, and I imagine it'll be a lot more read up on alchemists next time. I don't think he wants to go through that one more time. So, well, he basically ended 12-6, 12-7. He, yeah, 12-7. That's 12-6. He got 1 takeout and 1 goal, so 6 points. Well, that's fair enough. Let's see, the last game. That was Hunters. I played this player once before at Regncon a few months ago. It's a Hunter lineup with Theron, Chaska, Jakar, Ygritte, and who was the last fellow? Well, we did have the wolf. Well, you have to forgive me, I haven't looked at the pictures just before I started this, so I don't remember that lineup. Not completely anyway. Maybe I'll remember during. Well, let's see. Anyways, I kicked off, as I did most of the games, come to think of it. I received the first game and kicked the second, or the remaining 2 for that tournament. I choose to have a very striker fast team, so we go with the vitriol, smoke, calculus. I do veteran catalyst again. Essentially, hopefully I can do something good with that. I also have Harry, mostly to deal with the bear, which of course was there every time. So a little resources had to be spent on keeping that bear at bay. He still did a lot of damage, but still we managed fine. Harry is still very good. Don't let anyone say anything else to you. Of course, he was hit by the nerf bat quite bad, but still, he does more or less what he needs to do. He's just not doing damage while he's doing what he's doing. That would be the difference. And mostly, when you're doing these things with alchemists, you don't really need specifically the damage anyway. You just need to put them in the positions where you can control them and keep the flow and momentum going, and keep the opposition more or less under control. I'm pretty sure the frustrations were very clear in and around the Hunter player. You could see sort of the frustrations on his face several times, especially because of smoke and putting out these conditions everywhere. The one Molotov cocktail suddenly became half a team on fire, and a noxious blast is some damage and momentum, and not to mention a couple of people poisoned very soon as well. And the legendary chipped away so badly that even through tough fight and such, and that wasn't expected. So I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't want to see that one get hit by something like that once more. In any case, how did it go? We had a big rough terrain feature in the middle of the board, and that made it very funky for me to do anything. So all of it sort of got separated into a very small little channel where the bear could actually do quite a lot. So how do we deal with that bear? Well, not sure if it's a really good answer anywhere, but I was dealing with it using essentially using Harry and Calculus. Calculus was blinding every turn. Defense 2, so fairly easy to hit. Needing, well, even if it got 1 dice, it wasn't really a big deal. So she was basically standing on just above, or just around the edge of 8, blinding every turn and putting out a noxious blast, poisoning the bear or anyone else that's a viable target. And that was going very well. Also having Harry either doing a gold or just getting into base and knocking him down, and getting into base to base so he can't scream him away. Essentially, those two kept the bear at bay, but not before the bear actually got to take out, or almost take out, Veteran Catalyst. He actually did take him out in the end. That last bleed did get him. Or, well, at least, well, actually, Ygritte came and put the last 2 points on him, didn't he? No. Well, anyway, I did get rid of the bear in the maintenance phase on the first turn, after spending like half my team blowing it up. But a tough fight and intensified isn't a good combination. At least how Veteran Catalyst damage works. It's just not really. I see very. Well, just checking when my flight is really. Nah, not boarding yet. So I'll be alright for a little while yet. Let's see, where was we? Yeah, the damage of Catalyst, the Veteran Catalyst, is quite hampered by Tough Skin. Instead of doing the optimal damage, will be like 6, and including an intensifier, then it goes just down to 4 from with Tough Fine. It's pretty good still, but we do notice those two after a little while. But still, I essentially he was left with 2, and then Ygritte came and shot him in the face once. Well, Ygritte came and shot Veteran Catalyst in the face for the 1 damage he was lacking after deterioration. So he was out. It's okay, it could be worse. He came back on. Actually, he came back on next turn and almost killed Theron and Chaska at the same time. I just threw him in there and see how much damage can I do. And that left essentially Chaska on 2 and Theron on 4. That was, and the last I probably should have killed both. I took a chance to do Chaska on 7. I basically needed 3 hits, and I got 1. Well, statistically I should have managed, but sometimes it goes, sometimes it don't. So it was a bit of a high risk play. I would have ended up then getting a 6-point activation on that. Essentially a witness me and 2 kills. Oh, wait a minute, 4, 5, 6, yeah. 6 points from 1 witness me. That's pretty good. I would have basically taken out Chaska and killed Theron on the same activation. That was pretty cool, or would have been. Well, it wasn't to be. Only result was 1 damage. Well, 2 damage, but not enough. So we were basically left on trying to, or hoping to go through, and then my MVP here was definitely Vitriol, smacking in 2 goals, getting to, well, just menacing the back line when couldn't be touched. But I got the clone up every round pretty early, and she was basically the monster of the game. That was really interesting to see. And at the start of the 3rd, then we got a goal from Smoke, where she charges the bear. Both does a push and double push, so 3 inches. Teleports to the smoke, smacks in, tap it on 5 dice. with 1 success on a 3. There's tons of 2s there. I was... Ugh. To exact how it went, I smacked in, realized that I had 1 3 and 4 2s. Checked the distance to the goal, breathed a big sigh of relief after being very frustrated, and just, God, it went well. So, I don't want to do that again. Next time I'm checking tap-in range first. But it went well. Oh, so now my flight's boarding. I guess that means I should sign off. Anyways, we'll have an interesting talk through all of this. So anyways, I will just have some closing remarks a little later, and then it's been an interesting tournament here in Bergen, hosted by the Titan Wargaming group here. It's been awesome, and I'm looking forward to coming back next time. So, it's all over. I'm back where I started. I am back at the studio at STF. This is basically 2 meters away from where I did my final packing on the way to Bergen, and I've been at a lovely tournament. It was hosted by the Titan, well, what do they call themselves again? The Titan Gaming Group? Correct me if I'm wrong. Westland type Titan Gaming Group. One variation of the other anyway. Apologies in advance. I was there for the Guild Ball tournament now this past weekend. It was quite an interesting little showing with a fair few people. I think we were supposed to be 10 and we ended up at 8, which is fine. It was good for the 3 games that was planned, so essentially as good as we could expect. It's very cool. I had 3 very good games that I talked about just before. If you did not quite get through all of that, then well, I won the tournament, as in I actually won all the 3 games. It worked out very nicely, at least for me. There's a few new people there. The first game I had, for example, as mentioned, I had a person who probably has very limited experience, but he did very well for himself, even if he lost in the end. I think he did so parts of his last game. I was a very different person playing, and I think that was also what I could see from the others as well. They're picking up the game quite quickly, and I would say they're probably well on their way to become very good players. A lot of them there. But I also think the community there is very good. I certainly would recommend anyone in the Bergen area, if you're not playing Guild Ball and you know what it is, contact Titan and get yourself in the club. They have 10-15 odd players, so what are you waiting for? Mainly just want to sum up the entire tournament. I found it extremely good. It was good to actually also, first of all, it was good to be in a tournament that I wasn't actually running. That's something new, and I appreciated that certainly. And I believe Chris Burks, you were the one organizing it, and thank you for that. We got through all the games. All went very well without a hitch. I got a framed little plaque that I didn't bring with me for this video, which is a little, well, unprofessional, but I'll somehow put it into the video. I'll try. Here, there, yeah, I'm sure it'll be there eventually, yeah. And yeah, pretty good plaque, isn't it? Yeah, it's proud of it. It's my first tournament win. You go for it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will try to conclude without babbling too much. I have a tendency to do that, as maybe some of you might have noticed. I essentially just want to say that I enjoyed the tournament. I am looking forward to the next one. I am looking forward to having more games with new people, and if I hear about events that happens in some of the other cities, let us know. We'll see if we can manage to get someone over. We would love to build the community much more than we are, also through this channel, as well as through battle reports. We can maybe do some stuff with some of the people at both in Bergen and such. But for now, the big thing we're trying to get together is Norwegian Championships next year. That would be the weekend after the school is done, so in June, late June I think it is, next year in summer. We want to try to host a real good tournament. We're aiming for 30 plus players, so 32 players. If we get there, that is up to you, and be there. That's the only thing I can tell you. We'll make it happen on the organizing level. That's not a worry. So clear your schedule, and we'll post up this event soon as we can, and it will be good. And I'm pretty sure we can manage to get it sanctioned, so it means there'll be a national championship. And that means there's some prizes involved that will be pretty awesome. At least if we're looking at what we have this year, then we're hoping that we get at least that, and then we're looking at, well, somebody that wins might actually then end up being flown to wherever the World Championship will be held. This year I believe it's Chicago. Let's see, I don't know what will be for next year, but I'm pretty sure it will be good, and that the value will probably be pretty significant as well. So you should get started, you should get practicing, and what's there to say? Become a part of this community that we're building up, and with all your help we can make ooh, I almost said make Guild Ball great again, but that's not really right, is it? Guild Ball is great and will remain so, and that's because of an incredible community that we have as it is. And thank you very much, guys, and like, share and subscribe and support your Guild Ball hobby.